I know I said earlier that I was going to use this channel to talk about writing and whatnot, but with the announcement of a certain new game, I'd just like to talk a little bit about one of my favorite games of all time, which is also a game I've loathed. It is Hollow Knight. When I first got my Switch, I only had a couple of games, so I did some poking around to find games that were fun but also cheap because I was a college student and had no money because I was paying for classes. I came across, during my search, a game with this little guy, and his little void eyes spoke to me. That and the fact that the game was only $5. But the art looked so beautiful, and Red is a cozy game, so I'm ready to play. I get the game, and it takes me about 10 minutes for me to realize this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. And it has such a unique and lovely art style. The music is amazing, and overall just gorgeous, gorgeous vibes. You play this game as a little silent bug warrior traversing through a once great city known as Hollow Nest. You piece together how this civilization fell through the NPCs, old stone tablets, and bit by bit you discover that you are meant to save what is left of Hollow Nest by defeating the Hollow Knight, a being that was chosen to keep a strange infection at bay but fell victim to it during the process. So I'm traversing this world on my first playthrough, exploring everything, trying to figure out all the pieces of the map. And all in all, I'm having a pretty good time. Nothing crazy has happened, and I feel like I'm making good progress. And then the truth hits me. I realize after my first boss that this is not a cozy game. I mean, aesthetically it is, but the moment I face the Gruz Mother, and this is the easiest boss. Look at her. I died 5 times before I could beat that thing. And I'm so frustrated. It never gets easier. It's so hard. This game is awful. When I was in college, I'd play this on the weekends, and every boss I faced took me forever to defeat. And I was constantly looking up ways to cheese these guys. But the way in the game works is that you have to be skilled. You have to fight the boss and beat it. And no matter what I did, no matter how hard I practiced, I couldn't get it. Now, of course, there's ways to strengthen and level up your character. There's charms that you can equip for different abilities. There's soul you can collect to heal and gain more powerful attacks. You can even level up your weapon, but it takes a lot of geode to do any of this, and it's hard to get a hold of the geodes, which is the currency of the game, by the way. The way it works is that there's lots of different enemies, and basically you can defeat bigger enemies to get more currency. But there's also this mechanic where if you die, you lose your currency. You have one chance to get it back, and to do that you have to go back to the place where you died and defeat your past life, which has all the geode with it. As a writer, from a story perspective, that idea is really interesting, that there's some kind of stain left from where you died before. But it just made me so mad because I would have to go back and try and find the ghost on my map. And then, if I died before I could even get to it, then it would reset the shade, and a new shade based off that past life would be created, and I would lose all my currency forever. I got really far in the game at first. I got to this place called the Path of Pain, which is a pivotal story moment, which I live for. I love stories in video games. That's why I play them. But I could not, for the life of me, get through the Path of Pain. It was such a hard part of the game. It was awful. So I was basically stuck in the game. I couldn't advance forward. I was so mad. I was ready to quit. And I actually did. I deleted it. But then I came right back to the game. I reopened my save file. I just couldn't get away from this game. It's so pretty. And thus began an endless cycle of me opening the game, loving it, making some progress, and then realizing why I deleted it in the first place. When I saw that Silk Song was finally being announced and released, I opened the game again, but this time, to try and save my sanity, I ignored my old file, which had all the progress and me on the Path of Pain, and I just created a new one to try and refresh myself and get a better experience, hopefully. I don't think I'll ever be able to beat the game because I'm just not skilled and I don't have enough time to put in the hours to practice. But I just love this game and the beauty of it. I love all the characters and how unique they are. I want plushies of all of them, except for Zote. Zote can go die in the deepness of Hollow Nest. I don't care. He's a jerk. by the way, you're a very good listener. How'd you like to subscribe to my YouTube channel? Here is your official spoiler warning, because I'm going to hop into my writer's chair and talk a bit about the story. Here we go. So I actually researched all of this the minute I realized I was never going to beat the game, because I really wanted to understand the plot and what would happen if I were to beat the game. Before the Radiance, which is actually a sort of god, destroyed the kingdom of Hollowness, the king of Hollowness tried to contain it within a vessel, and in order to do so, he had to have children and try and put it within one of his children to contain it. And he actually succeeds. He has a son who becomes the Hollow Knight and contains the Radiance within him to protect the kingdom, but it doesn't work. Because in order to contain the Radiance, you must be void of emotion, and the son remembered the love he had for his father, and that is what destroyed him, which breaks my heart. You piece together that you are one of the failed siblings that was unable to complete the tests necessary in order to contain the Radiance. And now that your brother has fallen, it's time for you to take his place. Now this part is interesting. The game has two different endings. Now there's the ending where you take your brother's place and kill him and contain the Radiance within yourself. And then there's the ending where you're able to fight and defeat the source of the Radiance. It's harder to defeat the Radiance, but it's the only way to get the true ending of the game. And I love this because the reason you can't take on the Radiance yourself, like trap it within yourself, is because of your experiences in the game as you play. You are constantly meeting new NPCs and learning from them. Even the ones that are rude, you're able to gain experience from them, and you feel things when their story progresses and when they die. Whenever you finally regain your memories, you are literally positioned to confront your own death and the death of your siblings, and you have to fight their ghosts, and you have to deal with your own mortality. And I love this because it's reflective of the player, really, and not even the knight himself, because there's nothing we know about the knight besides that he's a failed sibling. Everything he or she or they are experiencing for the first time, we're experiencing for the first time with them. We are writing their story together. And because we as the players exist and have these emotions, there's no way that we could contain the Radiance within ourselves. So how could the knight do it? We are the little knight. We are the character. So as difficult as the game is, or as frustrating as it can be, I adore it because I feel like it takes storytelling to another level. And stylistically, it is just beautiful. And even though it's difficult, you get such satisfaction from gaining any sort of progress. So I love it. Anyways, thanks for listening to me rant about Hollow Knight. I recommend it, and I would recommend you play the sequel as well when it comes out. So yeah, no outro still. Bye!